Hey guys, welcome to Culture Uplift. Today we're going to be talking about a video that Nick Fuentes did where he shares his thoughts on black people, and it's gone pretty viral. So we're going to be basically dissecting it and sharing our thoughts too. And I'd like you to go ahead to like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps us out. So without a further ado, let's get right into it.
It's a shame. I really do believe, look, I think black people are not irredeemable, but there just needs to be brutal honesty. It's like, look, these black people are really struggling and they're turning into these maniacs. It seems like they don't do anything right. They're obnoxious, they're rude, they're inconsiderate, aggressive, cruel. And, look, nobody hates black people for being black.
Unfortunately, Nick, that's just not true. To the contrary, people actually hate black people. Most of the incidents that we see on YouTube and on the internet of hateful, vile acts against black people is not justified. It's not because there was a black person that was doing something that, deserved to be treated that way. It was just because this person clearly was hating or was being racist for no reason, or just because they had, this evil desire, or they were just a bad person. It was not because the other person, did something that justified to receive such harsh treatment from the other. The reality of the issue is that most of, the racist, attacks against black people is mainly just because of hate. It's not really based on any thing that black people have done. For an instance, let's look at slavery at the beginning. When black people were introduced into America, they were just treated very terrible from the beginning. It wasn't because black people did anything to them, and even still applies today. A lot of people are treating black people really bad, not because they're retaliating against something black people did. It's just because they're just hating them, and it's what they want to do. And maybe, Nick, you're not one of them, but unfortunately it's not rare. When you go on the internet, there's just quite a lot of it. There's the Sonia Massey. I'm sure a lot of you already know about this. It was about a cop, a policeman that shot a black woman. If the video is on, I'm gonna post a link in the description. There was no reason for the cop to behave the way he did. Clearly, that's just one of the many, many examples.
The reason that people have negative attitudes about black people is because most people's interactions with black people are negative.
Well, according to ChatGPT, that's not true. So I don't know where Nick's getting this information from. In my opinion, I think he's just talking off of his own personal feelings and what he thinks. But to say that as a fact, well, I don't know. Okay, he probably didn't say that was a fact, but to just state it like that, I think it's just highly inaccurate, and he just shouldn't have done that. But then again, everyone's entitled to their own opinion. So you can go ahead. Please let me know in the comments what you think about this, that most people's experiences with black people, ends up being negative. So let me know what you think. So the thing is, I do get that, black people are known to exhibit these traits. But in my opinion, it's really the few. It's, the unusual. It's not common. It's not the main centerpiece of black culture. It's not everyday black people that you see doing this. At least that's not my experience. It is quite. You will experience this amongst black people, but it's not. It's not at the center of a black culture. So he's making out, in my opinion, he's making it out to be as though this is what it means to be black, or this is the black culture, or basically this is how black people are. So maybe 8 or 7 times out of 10, your experience with a black person is going to turn to be something like this. This is the norm for black people. But that's where I disagree with him, because this, I mean, of course, we all do know what he's talking about, but in my opinion, it's not necessarily very common. You understand? I maybe because of the part, maybe because of where I live, but of course there are black people known, and black people do probably have the highest tendency to behave like this, relatively, compared to other races. But to me, it's not the norm. It's black people do behave like this, but it's not normal everyday black people behavior. So me asking if this is what most of you experience is that I just let me know, is there a majority? Like, let's say if there's 10 black people in America, how many black people do you think behave like this? Just be honest.
Most people's interactions with black people is when you're stuck in traffic and you see a Nissan Altima speeding down the shoulder. And you say, what the fuck? You're not supposed to do that. If everybody did that, it would just be another lane, and, not everybody can do that. But it's like these people have no respect for decorum. They think the rules don't apply to them. They have no respect for society. Like, that's their interaction is they are a waiter and they wait on a black table and the black people don't tip and they're fucking rude. Like, that's most people's interactions. It's stuff like that. They go to the DMV and they see a black person behind the counter and they say, oh, here we go. And the person's rude. Now, it just goes to show people are not racist. It goes to show people don't like people that are rude.
So the thing is about what you just said is that, of course, people will have bad experiences, with individuals, and sometimes it might be common, but it's just wrong and completely unacceptable to decide to just hate a whole race or hate a whole group of people because one of them gave you a bad experience or the worst experience of your life. It's valid to say you hate what this person did, or you really hate this experience you had, but it's just wrong to justify it for a whole race or for a whole people.
People don't, it's unpleasant. People want to be treated with consideration and respect. And it is true that black people are, in this day and age, unfortunately, seem to have very low moral character. It's not even...
So Nick just hit the nail right on the head. So there's a lot. I just don't want to make the video too long. I'm going to save that for another video, but this is just really accurate. And as black people, we really have to take a look and, change things. We really have to look at what matters and just also, look at how the world sees us and where we're going as a race and our culture, because this is not black culture. It's not normal for black people to be seen as this. This is wrong. This is not who we are. This is not who we're supposed to be. So it's not okay that these things are becoming so rampant and so common with black people. It really has to stop, and we have to change it. And we can make things better. And that's part of why I started this channel. So let's get to work. Let's help our families. Let's help our friends. Let's let them know that this is not okay, because this is just not. No one wants to have an encounter like this. Even black people don't want to have encounters like this with black people. No one wants it. So we just have to just work towards changing and make sure that this ends and doesn't become the new definition of the black culture, because it's just wrong.
Than just the violence, although the violence is pretty striking. If you live your life and you know that you're going to be mugged by black people, it kind of colors your opinion or perception of black people, wouldn't you say? If 99% of the carjackings and stabbings and shootings that you see in Chicago are by black people, when you're walking down the street late at night, guess what you're looking for? Black people. And you equate that with danger. And it doesn't take a lot of them to spoil the whole bunch like that. And we just want black people to take accountability and say, look, I'm not a bad person.
Well, Nick, I actually agree with Nick 100% on this one. We have to take accountability. It's not nice. All of us have experienced it. You know what it's like when someone's in the wrong and doesn't want to take accountability for the wrong they've done and just, makes up excuses. It's hard to move forward. And as black people, unfortunately, that's what we probably might have had been doing. we need to hold ourselves accountable, because this is not Black culture. This is just, I think, human common sense. Everyone knows that it's not okay to behave like this. So we should just not behave like this. I think it's normal that we don't do this. So he's perfectly right. We have to hold ourselves accountable. And if we do things that are just wrong, let's just, make sure that we do something about it. Let's help our families. It starts with the families, with you letting your family know. If you have a brother or sister I know sometimes it can be really hard. If you have friends, go ahead, just do the best you can to advise them and encourage them and let them know the truth. Let them know that that's just not okay. It's not okay to just have so much negativity and express this, because it just doesn't bring anything good. We all end up suffering for it.
I'm not a bad person. It just seems that every time I encounter you people, for the most part, it's negative. And sometimes extremely negative, like I could get a gun in my face. That's a problem. And people go, well, you are just loaded up with hatred and racism. It's like, I'm really not. I'm a really friendly person. I'm a really polite, friendly person. I give everybody a chance. But if I'm someplace and I see some Black person walking in with their pants sagging and they can't articulate what their problem is or what they need, and they're rude and they're aggressive, and I'm in fear for my life, I have a problem with all of that.
So this also is true, that Black people do have the tendency to express, their anger, being physical and being violent. It's something that, Black people do have a high tendency of doing, and also maybe not being very articulate to really express what they think and what they feel. So more reason they end up, becoming more violent. And this is a trait that I feel that as Black people we should look at and, just quit and avoid. It's always better to just, resolve things amicably. And usually violence is really, really, in my opinion, in most instances that we do realize, it's just really not the answer. It usually just brings a lot of pain afterwards. So we do definitely have to work on that.
And I'm in fear for my life. I have a problem with all of that. And people go, and these Black people go, well, you're racist, you're racist. It's like, no, I just hate inconsiderate behavior. If Black people were super well behaved, we would be racist in the other direction. We'd say, Black people, oh yes, dude, yes. My day is about to turn around for the better. What can I help you with, sir? Please come right on in. Man, what a relief to see you here. You're a sight for sore eyes. If Black people were known for being the best, then we would be racist in the other direction. Oh, finally. So yeah, that really bothers me. It just bothers me in this damn ass city, because that's all it is in Chicago, is just these Black people who can never take accountability. It's always somebody else's fault.
So there you have it. So these are Nick's thoughts on why he basically thinks that, people have issues with Black people. I did share my thoughts earlier, and I'm really looking forward to seeing your comments. Please let me know, because he's talking as though this is the norm, as though this is common and this is the majority of people's experiences with Black people. And I'm not sure. To me, it's not, but I could be wrong. To me, I think that, this is the fewer. Of course, these things are Black people do have a tendency, and we do agree with him on a lot of things that he did say. We know that Black people do have a higher tendency of doing things like this, but is it the norm? Is this what most people go through every day with Black people? Or is this like an unusual once in a while thing? Kind of go ahead and let me know your thoughts. And if you haven't already joined our family, please do so. Subscribe, like, and share. We really will appreciate that. Thank you.